Dodge, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spear, Finger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Howler, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil Dog, Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, a Lizard Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snarly Gastro Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet.
This here's Bigfeets, America's #1 comedy podcast about hillbilly monster hunting show, Mountain Monsters. I'm Robert Brockway, and that's true, technically true, what I just said.
I'm Sean Baby from the internet. Sorry, I forgot you were doing it that way again.
What would the cast and crew of Mountain Monsters say if they knew we were being so sloppy about our production?
Don't make it into a running bit. I can cut around it.
Their show.
They'd say, well, if you're just joining us, Robert Brockway introduced the show. And then Sean Baby came in way too late, like 2 or 3 beats too late.
And then Jason decided not to introduce himself at all.
And if you're just joining us, we
Pargin.
recapped the recap just now.
I am Jason Pargin, known as the Rookie.
All right, that means you're going to get confusingly pranked to no avail. What do we want to plug today, gentlemen? Sean.
Oh, okay. I write at a website called 1900hotdog.com. We're supported by Patreon. Go to patreon.com/1900hotdog. We do daily jokes about crazy shit. I run it with our host, Robert Brockway. And it's the best. It's the best website. It's my plug.
Provably.
Robert, you have to go next.
I have to go next? But I'm
Yes.
Robert. I want to talk. I talk professionally. I talk professionally on the Dog Zone 9000 with my partner Sean Baby about all the wonderful things he just said.
And I am Jason Pargin. I used to be these guys' boss in some capacity. Now I'm a best-selling author. And we're basically counting down the days or years until I'm too prestigious to do projects like this. And when I will have to come back and ask for them to be erased because I will have won some sort of important writing award, and I'll have to pretend that none of this ever happened. This will all be written off.
A fortune. This is my retirement plan. All right. Last time on Mountain Monsters, we absolutely did not prove the Wolfman was real. So this time we're aiming our sights way lower and
Huckleberry disagrees.
Yeah, we saw a white blob. That was Wolfman. So this time we're aiming our sights way lower, and we're just trying to prove that maybe dogs are real.
There's a mean dog out there somewhere.
This is episode 2 of the hillbilly monster hunting show, Mountain Monsters, called Devil Dog of Logan County. It takes place in Logan County, West Virginia. We have to do our overloaded pickup scene, which I refers only to exposition. Of course, I would never be debasing so low.
Normally they travel by golf cart or falling.
They explained that this here is Hatfield McCoy territory that they're getting into, and you think that's nothing. You think that's just like a little bit of history they're providing for the episode, but don't underestimate the skill of the story weavers of Mountain Monsters. This is, of course, going to come back into play. What they have is dead coyotes, as Trapper says.
I
dead
do want to talk
coyotes.
about, speaking of Hatfield McCoy, Buck tells a really good story about how he grew up with one boy named Hatfield, and listen, another boy named McCoy. And what he would do is he would take a $50 bill and he'd say, let's get this fight started again for the $50 bill. Now, everybody laughs because what a great story, right? But I would like to argue it's not. This is a maniac's idea of a story. and every single one of these persons should be ashamed of themselves. That's what I want to say.
I like the implication that Buck was the rich kid trying to get his classmates to fight each other, his poor classmates to fight each other.
Like he brought a $50 bill to school? Like,
I'd never even seen a $50 bill until I was like 30. All right, so what Trapper has is dead coyotes with virtually no marks on them. And Jeff explains they're draining the carcasses completely, sometimes taking only the liver.
Oh, this is Chupacabra.
Yeah, like this is what he says. So Trapper says usually a coyote's the top predator in this area, so that's a big deal. And Jeff says, well, the way the coyote's blood is being sucked, and they're being knocked off, and they're being killed, it's the only indication I'd have that there'd be a Chupacabra.
Yeah, it's Chupacabra.
But the situation is the Chupacabra are not known in this area. So the research is pointing me toward a devil dog.
The research?
that whole sentence we have to unpack.
At the Logan County Public Library, the one he hasn't been kicked out of.
He's supposed to be the reasonable, well-read one of the group, and he's explaining that normally if you see blood-sucked coyotes, which you do all the time, you got a Chupacabra on your hands, which you do all the time. He would of course assume that, but the Chupacabra, there's one problem with it, and that's just this isn't their neighborhood. They don't like it around here. So what he's done is gone to the Hill Library, the library that's just thrown all around a hill, and found the right books, and found out, of course, if it's not a Chupacabra, the only other thing that sucks the blood out of coyotes is Devil Dog.
It's a devil dog. Now, Trapper says this is a three-toed canine, but a canine, of course, has 4 front toes and a dew claw. So I don't think a taxonomist would call it a canine. So this is why the team needs a proper scientist. This is why they need a proper academic instead of just Jeff, Googling whether chupacabras live in
Now,
Logan
Jeff
County.
has learned his lesson. He doesn't even say the word canine here because he doesn't want to get made fun of for the entire episode, like he did when he said the word bipedal.
Right, but Trapper's fine with
it. So we get our CGI model. We get it early on now, and it just looks like the Wolfman again, but they took his legs off and they gave him
white.
Well, there's a white one
Nice.
and there's a black one. They don't know about the white one yet, so they just show us the black one, and it looks like a wolf that's flexing, like it's just kind of got shoulders out, and it's like, ooh.
Did you see the thighs on this thing?
And the thighs are incredible. Juiciest goddamn thighs on this.
It's like a scientist saying, here's what chickens will look like in the year 2085. Like, this is what we're going for with our genetic modifications. Just massive, bulbous thighs.
Now, we're going to get into what is kind of magical about this episode. Because I feel like some people listening to the previous, and for the love of God, do not start the podcast on this episode. You're going to be so lost. There's so much Mountain Monsters lore that had to be explained in the first episode.
And we'll remember all of it and carefully catalog it and refer back to it, of course.
In the second episode, first episode, for those who missed it, they hunted a 500-pound, 7-foot-tall creature called the Wolfman. This episode, they are hunting a creature called the Devil Dog, and they never quite pin down what a devil dog is or does. Because everyone they talk to is going to describe it differently. Everything from a blood-sucking mystical creature to just a kind of a bigger coyote that hunts other coyotes. They keep getting descriptions that don't make it sound like a cryptid, that just make it sound like
a real big dog.
coyote or something. And so they keep trying to spin little, like, well, it only ate the liver. And it's like, well, there's actually no reason an animal couldn't just eat a liver before getting interrupted and having to run away. Like, they keep trying to, and they never really pin down what exactly a devil dog is or does, or how many of them there are, or anything else. It's a very nebulous idea that they are going to try to yes and throughout the episode with the various strangers they run into to spectacular effect.
Or why it's bad specifically, because the way all of these episodes progress is that they're going to try to kill it. But right now it's just killing coyotes, which all of these people agree we want dead anyway. So they're showing up and being like, well, you're helping us out. I've got to fucking murder you. And as Trapper says, once they decide on it, he says, just like the Hatfields and McCoys, the coyotes are having it out. So now he's decided, of course, that the coyotes are in a gang, and then the devil dogs are in a gang that is also maybe consists of coyotes, because they're some sort of coyote offshoot, and like they have a feud going on. And so before we can exit this scene, we do need Jeff's wisdom. He says, Battle Royale.
That's it.
And
That's it.
Spoiler, we at the end of the last episode, we decided what was our favorite quote. I'm going to spoil it right now. Him saying that coyotes and the devil dogs are having a battle royale. That was my quote of the episode. They do not top it for the rest of the episode too.
It's what they go out on, like the exposition scene. They think that's the button. And you know what? They're fucking right. Because I was waiting for it, and Jeff goes, Battle Royale. And that's, all right, you said a cool thing, Jeff. Let's go. So we are meeting.
Can the episode live up to that foreshadowing? Absolutely not.
I strongly disagree. Such a great episode.
It's such a good episode, though. Okay, so we're meeting with our first witness, true to the format, absolute formula we can't deviate from. And his name is, anybody?
Shoeless Terry.
Shoeless Terry. And
now, listeners, listen, he's named that because he doesn't wear shoes.
He's just standing in the grass by the side of the road again, and this time we can actually see the truck pull up and them get out. He's just waiting for them to like stop on the shoulder of the highway. I've
seen 4 episodes of the show. I've never seen them be invited into a witness's home.
No,
they're always meeting with them out by the road, as if either the Ames team is not welcome in their home, or they do not want to be in their home, or they would find out these people live in an apartment in town.
They just have like a nice condo.
Because this guy's feet are not the feet of someone who goes barefoot all day and all night. They are the feet of someone who has just taken his shoes off.
I noticed that as well.
So he is, of course, a 50-something prospector in a leather do-rag, because that's his identifiable mark. He says he goes shoeless all year, and as Jason said, no, he has reasonable human feet. They're not even very dirty. And he says, I deer hunt this way.
Like he walks all delicate too, like, oh, this is a dumb idea.
Like it hurts to be in the grass. And he says, I deer hunt this way. I never get sick. Copenhagen, coffee, and aspirin are all I take. I don't know how those things are connected. It's an insane thing to say in every direction. Yeah. Somehow it prevents him from getting ill, is walking around barefoot, and the only things you need are Copenhagen, coffee, and aspirin.
And again, these people, they exist in a world where simultaneously they do all this country stuff while also knowing it's very unusual. So they'll run up to somebody and say, I eat gopher, because they know that that's a weird country thing to do. And this guy's like, oh, the only thing I eat is chewing tobacco, because he knows it's a weird country thing to eat.
And I'm always barefoot.
Yeah. You would think in the context of like living amongst each other, they would just be like, yeah, I had a normal lunch. And they wouldn't have to say it was a bunch of Copenhagen and aspirin, because everybody would just understand that that's what we eat for lunch.
Very briefly, I have a theory about this. So when going on Wikipedia and trying to find the details of Mountain Monsters and where it aired, and it was on some kind of like travel channel or something.
It was on actual TV at some point?
Oh,
you could flip a channel and see it?
I strongly doubt it.
Okay.
But, cable, like at one point, cable was so deep, like as part of the package to get all the channels, you would be forced to take Discovery Travel or some, history blank these ultra niche channels that they would set up that would get literally hundreds of viewers at a time. And there's these like extreme right-wing news outlets that are the same thing. Like nobody watches them, but they can still get carried on because the cable channels they pay these carrier fees and they just throw on these extremely niche outlets. So I think they or somebody, and I can't imagine the process of them pitching this show. I think it was probably around the neighborhood of when Duck Dynasty was a big deal. Remember that?
Right.
2013, yeah.
And a lot of upper middle class people love to watch that show. And the Duck Dynasty guys, for those of you who don't know, you can find videos or photos of them before they put on their Duck Dynasty costumes and pretended to be mountain men. They're just normal guys in polo shirts. Like that was like a Larry the Cable Guy thing. They put that persona on for the show. And I think these people, I do not doubt they actually do live in West Virginia. I think they promised to do a Duck Dynasty thing. And since it was geared toward this obscure travel channel, it's like, well, we're going to talk about the monsters and folklore, but it'll really be about this part of the country that doesn't get served by the mainstream media and the type of, personalities who survive off the land in coal country and Appalachia and all this area and da-da-da. And they pitched it as like, well, we'll be talking to locals and getting that local flavor of how these people live. And I think they very quickly, I would love to know who the witnesses are. Because there's at least one episode where the woman, it really did seem like she was trying to tell them that she saw a monster. And then there's others where it is somebody playing a part. Mm-hmm. And in these first two episodes, they have made these people play up the hillbilly stuff to an almost insulting degree. Where people...
What does it take to insult them if not Shoeless Terry, who survives on chewing tobacco?
Yeah, or Turtle Man, who survived entirely on animals he found.
Who ate skunk ass.
Yeah. So I would love to know who Shoeless Terry actually is, if this is a member of the crew, if this is somebody they paid $50 to play this role. Like, I don't think they cast an actor. I'm trying to imagine them having people come read for Shoeless Terry.
Reading for the part of Shoeless Terry. I need to know more about my character. Why?
I like that because when he saw the Devil Dogs, he was like, "It's the only time in my life I've ever been scared." So he has a backstory of a lifetime of courage. So he saw the pack of creatures, which again is not what they're looking for. They're looking for the one devil dog. And he says, well, I saw a pack of devil dogs. And so to our heroic team, they're like, oh, okay, that's not what we're looking for, which means it's definitely what we're looking for, just more of it. So Terry says these things kill humans no problem. And then he says, my notes don't attribute this quote, but I think Terry said this, where he says, we don't have the tools to fight them yet.
We haven't got the tools to fight something like that. They don't exist. Like, we could come at him with a B-52 bomber.
Right.
He's wouldn't working do on anything.
Shoeless Terry's out there working on a way to fight them. He'll come up.
But to be clear, why are we at war with the devil dog? Again, we have not established that it has ever harmed a single person in its entire existence.
It did not harm Shoeless Terry. Yeah. Shoeless Terry came out of that encounter having seen it, and then they left. He specifies they left first. So he says he saw a pack of them, and Buck asks how many, 6 or 7. Terry thinks, and he says, somewhere between 6 and 8. So 7, I guess.
So he added one. Now, again, they would explain an uncorroborated report of dead coyotes that weren't eaten. So, I mean, like, it would explain that thing that we desperately need to explain. Just to be clear, like, it's probably devil dogs.
Yeah. Well, and again, they introduce it in the car with these coyotes are being found drained of blood. So you're implying this is a vampire dog.
It's a vampire. It doesn't eat them. It says.
It doesn't eat them. It lives off the life force in the blood. And then this guy mentions that its eyes were red, like the devil. Which any animal evil. You shine a light at its eyes, like my dog, you can get the same effect.
Shoeless Terry sensed
but in
evil.
Daytime. Yeah, he sensed. He said, the best I can describe it, it's just evil.
Mhm.
Not a man
Now,
of
you see
many
the
words,
devil-
but he uses them well.
Out there in the hall, you see the devil a lot. And this thing had the eyes of a devil. Now, with
So
Jeff,
they've
Jeff hears
explained-
that, and he's like, this is a matriarchal society. That means it's a woman. I don't know how he got there, but he's decided as their researcher.
He's decided that the white one with the red eyes is a woman,
Right.
and it's their leader. And because Terry says nobody was giving her any lip, so the other dogs, the other devil
Terry's-
dogs, weren't talking back to her. Now he does specify that, like, Trapper asks him, like, "Now you didn't leave first, did you? Like, that would be a stupid thing to do." And Shoeless Terry says, "No, I let them leave first." And as they're leaving this scenario, Trapper sums it up for us and says, "Shoeless Terry did a good job of staring that devil dog down." Just love that.
Successful.
Shoeless Terry. All right, so our first night investigation. We're here because, as Trapper says, there's supposed to be gobs of coyotes in this country, just gobs of them.
Mhm.
And here is where Shoeless seen them devil dogs, so they call him Shoeless instead of Terry.
Instead of Terry.
Like, that's his
It's like how
first
they
name.
called Brutus the Barber Beefcake the.
Of course. Buck is checking for tracks. Jeff is up on the thermal watching the hills. Huckleberry, security, of course. As he assigns the role to Huckleberry, Trapper says, Huckleberry, and Huckleberry already says, "I got your ass," and Trapper says, "You got my ass." It's
There's
very
a lot
much
of
your
chemistry here.
your Top Gun moment. Yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
is we're bonding. You got my ass. I always got your ass. A twig snaps, and we all, if any of these guns had been loaded, several people would be dead right now. Just flailing wildly, no hint of gun safety, just pointing it at the backs of each other's heads. And Huckleberry laughs it off and says, "Ghost of the woods." Like, I don't know if that's a hillbilly saying for when something scares you and it turns out to be nothing, or if Huckleberry actually thinks there's a ghost of the woods and that's what happened.
Why wouldn't
There's
he?
no way to tell. There's no way to tell.
We were looking for a devil dog. We might have found a ghost.
There's no way to tell. Would it be less ridiculous? Like, he laughs.
Well, you
like,
You got to get back to the truck and get your ghost guns.
Jeff has a blob on the thermal. Of course, that's proof of the devil dog. And then somebody shouts, "Holy shit, look out!" And we cut to commercial. So another Willie is dead. Another member of the Ames team has just died. Like, they're dropping
absolutely.
like flies.
Now,
Of course,
when you see this
died.
happen, what that means in Mountain Monster terms is you have to watch the last 40 seconds of what you just saw again after the commercial break.
Yes. Now we need to cut to commercial and then recap from the beginning of the episode up until what happened right now.
Right.
And then this is
Which
one
means
of the
we get to
spots
see
where
the CGI devil dog again, which is fantastic.
now
Very
there's two of them. You get to see both of
alluring
them together.
thighs. It's like someone rendered a coyote very, very
With a-
wrong. Like a Red Dead Redemption
With a-
glitch. I want you to picture a Red Dead Redemption glitch, but with just huge fuckable thighs. Okay.
If the strong man from the Red Dead Redemption turned into the model of a coyote. Yeah, of
Right.
course. Now this is one of the points where, if you'll remember, holy shit, look out. We cut to commercial and then recapped. They're counting on you not remembering because they don't actually pay that off. There's nothing. They forgot to say there was something.
Right.
So now we come back from recap and everybody's just forgotten that ever happened. And now Buck is being hunted once again at a rock cliff by some sort of dog-like creature. I think this is Buck's theme. He stands by cliffs and gets hunted by dogs from above.
Yep.
So they're like, "Buck, they're above you." Buck's like looking around frantically. All I see is a rock cliff, and they show him like looking up and pointing his gun up at a stone cliff, like above him. There's an overhang, so they could not possibly
They're
get to
looking
him.
at blobs on the thermal. There's thermal. He just can't see it. But there's blobs up there. Probably
Does
devil dogs.
anybody note how this situation resolved?
I think nothing, if I remember right.
Jeff says, "Oh, they moved off now."
Oh, good.
Buck, they're above you. They're above you. I don't see them. It's a rock cliff. Oh, they're gone. Don't worry about it.
He had a good angle on it from down there at the bottom
Now
of the rock
here,
cliff.
in their predator vision, they do kind of have two dog-shaped blobs.
They do.
Mhm.
Is that something in post-production where at this stage they had the budget to just, or did they just get a couple of
I
dogs
think they
brought
got
with them?
dogs. I
Yeah,
think they had
probably just brought
access
the dogs from home.
to some dogs.
Yeah,
Is what happened.
because last
this will
episode when they
happen.
were hunting wolfmen, like one of the blobs just kind of looked like a house, like a domestic dog, just out in the woods.
Just bring your dog along. Your dog would
Yeah.
have so much fun playing Mountain Monsters with you.
Oh my
I
God.
just run out there and just fucking go nuts. They call him back and he runs real fast. Like, oh my
It could
god,
be
it's
the goat.
charging us.
We know they have access to a goat. It could have been a goat.
Could have been the goat. Could have been Daisy in a starring moment. So nothing has happened. Buck panicked in a cave until they told him that they were fucking with him, I guess. And Trapper concludes it by saying, that was a great investigation of the devil dog.
Yep, time to go home.
Buck
Time to go
really
home for
showed
the
his
night.
nerve.
Yeah, Buck really showed his nerve. I have that written
We came
down.
into the woods. We saw a couple of blobs in our thermal, and we went home.
Buck
That was it.
crapped himself, but he kept his gun. That's all I ask of a man. So we got to cut to a Wild Bill and Willie's trap shack. Huckleberry is on the meth wrangling duty today. They rotate out. It was Buck last time. It has to go supervise them, and now Huckleberry has to nobody wants to do it 2 days in a row. I'm old. I can't party like they do. I can't do it anymore. So Huckleberry describes it to them because they have not had any debriefing. This is the second time they've come to them, and the person that they send to them has to just explain what they're doing. So they wait in their shed until
We
Huckleberry.
got two blobs. What we're dealing with is two blobs up high. Bye.
So they have no idea. They've never heard of this before. They have no proof of it whatsoever. And Huckleberry shows up and is 5 foot tall wolf, massive shoulders, white with red eyes, pure evil. And Wild Bill says, "That's a pretty good animal."
Yeah. I like it.
That's what he takes away from it.
I'll
That's a pretty
take
good
it.
animal.
I'll swipe left on that. Or swipe, whichever kind of swiping, I'll take it.
That Wild Bill, it's a bad one. We're going bad on. Oh shit. Oh, all right. I thought we were just describing kick-ass things.
I like it because they know there's more than one. And now they've decided they're going to trap the whole fucking pack.
All 9 of them, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Huckleberry
They
now
mentioned-
says there's not just one. There's anywhere from 8 to 9.
Just one more every time he tells
They
the
keep
story.
adding, yes. And their conclusion is, okay, we're going to need one giant trap. We're going to catch an entire pack of devil dogs.
Of course, you have to catch them all at once. That's Devil Dog lore. If you don't catch them all at once, they can rejoin. They can respawn.
So there are such things as a muskrat colony trap that you can catch multiple animals in one big trap.
But that's what they go to. Is that
Yeah.
we got to use muskrat technology, but scaled up.
For this
That's the closest
blood-sucking
thing.
devil monster.
I mean, with the 3 toes, it's more like a muskrat. Honestly.
That's true. Yeah. Speaking scientifically, it's
So once
definitely
again,
from the muskrat family.
it's time to rob the materials of our trap from an unsuspecting farmhouse.
Well,
It
first,
says-
they find a rusted old fracking tank. And I think this explains Shoeless Terry because he's been drinking chemical runoff long enough that the frackers have already abandoned their equipment to get rusted. So this is 20 years of him drinking fracking runoff.
They find a fracking tank that's still full of oil. It's rusted completely over, but full of oil. And then they were just about, Wild Bill runs up to check it, at the last minute, because they were just about to cut into it with the torch.
Right.
He's like, wait, I should check that first. So within the fiction of their story, they would have all just died. They would have all just exploded. Or as Wild Bill explains it, don't want to take no torch to it, might get a big boom.
On to plan B.
And again, this is all improvised based on something they saw while riding their little golf cart through the woods, because they have no means of moving that tank. That thing weighs, a ton or more.
It
At
is
least
been
they
there.
do Wolfman traps.
They don't have any ability to turn that into a Wolfman trap, but they have to play the role of wow, I think maybe we could use this. That'd be the ideal shape to get all 9 devil dogs inside.
This does happen several times in that they'll just find something neat in the woods and then they'll have to kill 5 minutes. How could this be a trap? And the answer is it can't.
Can't. All right. I do like that.
Full
That was
oil.
their plan A. They're we're on to plan B, which means that plan A was to find a non-oily fracking tank in the woods. And they're like, God, we were almost there. We almost had Plan A to work. If only there wasn't oil in it.
So now they're off to rob a farmhouse again, and now we're the other team, the main team, the core team, are off to see Richard. You won't believe this. He's a 50-something white hillbilly. He's found some dead coyotes, and he's got a little video. He was checking his cows for calves, just like that last guy was recording a lightning struck tree. We have to always explain why they're recording, because I guess the world was a different place in 2013. When this all took place, you had to explain why anybody would possibly be recording anything. The video he has is clearly of a moderately sized dog very far away.
It's just a dog.
It's just a dog. You can see it. It's a dog. It's like a wolfhound or something. And God damn, I think I said wolfhound. I think it's getting to me. I think it's contagious. So they've seen the video. Buck notices something weird, though. He says, all right. The one on the right is like a big cat or something, which is, well, what? But this one on the left is just weird. So the one that's like a big cat is totally normal, but the one on the left is weird. And Trapper introduces the possibility. He says, that's a devil dog. To which Richard says, what's a devil dog?
Who are you men again?
Wait, wasn't briefed on this scenario?
I liked his story because they seemed a little bored by his story, and it got kind of crazier as their interest waned. Like, they're like, yeah, okay, so I found a couple dead coyotes. They're like, yeah, but also I filmed it. Also, I have a video. So maybe this is just a video of some dogs that he took that he just had to show them because otherwise he's just a guy with some dead coyotes. I don't know.
Imagine, so he didn't know what a devil dog was. So as far as what he has seen, which we have clearly seen is just a dog, he took a video of a dog in the woods and was like, I got to contact somebody. I got to get the experts out here. This is fucking crazy. Only they know it's a special dog.
Two details I want you to notice. One, I don't know if you guys picked up on this. The witness, Richard, he was wearing a cap with a logo on it.
Right.
And they had to tape over it with electrician's tape.
Yeah, it was a Stall Tractors logo, and he had to cover it.
Yeah. But the other alternative would have been to just ask him to take the hat off.
No. But then you would have lost track of him completely. You would have no idea who he was.
But that's the discussion that I'm imagining. Because, again, it's like the first option would be, well, just take it off. And him saying, no, it stays on.
Which requires always had Richard. You ever met Shoeless Terrier? I'm opposite of Shoeless Terrier.
I only eat the front parts of the skunk.
And someone mentioned, well, could you just turn it around?
Right.
And be like, no, I ain't from the city.
Yeah.
No, this is my headgear. Otherwise, I'll look exactly like every other person on this show.
So a member of the crew had to get some of their electrician's tape they used to tape up their cables or whatever and put a little tape over part of the logo.
Yep.
Then it's just this very conspicuous, like 70% of the logo is covered by this hastily applied bit of tape.
Stall Tractors didn't want to sponsor this, huh?
But also, when I could be the one that's wrong here, because when they ask, well, let's see the video, and they pull up the camera, it's the camera that the Mountain Monsters people have with them. Did this guy have it on like an SD card or something, or are they claiming that that's his camera?
I think they're claiming that's his camera, which is also the camera from the other guy.
Same camera the previous witness in the first episode.
It's the hillbilly camera. They all have it. They all got Ford trucks and hillbilly cameras. We all know this.
It's episode 2, and it is just completely fallen apart with the smallest amount of scrutiny.
My favorite part, they try something here that I don't think they try again. I have not seen all the episodes, but they decide on episode 2 they need a skeptic to fulfill the Scully role of the Hillbilly X-Files they're doing here. So all of a sudden, Buck starts saying, that's why he said, this one looks weird. Like, I'm going to not believe it. And so in this scene, Trapper says, Buck, you need to go out there, and what you're looking for is a 3-toed track. And Buck can't believe this shit. 3 toes? He says, like turkey feet? And Trapper says, like a turkey track, but a dog track. And so Buck kind of crosses his arms and says, I'm looking for a dog with turkey feet.
They go in two different directions where Trapper is so on board. He's like, he's finding intentionality. He's like, I think they're eliminating the coyotes so they don't eat all the food. They're eliminating their competition at this level of the food chain. That's why they're not eating the coyotes. They just want them gone. And Buck is like, no. It could be a mountain lion, but no, they wouldn't just kill to kill. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Then Buck has a little testimonial where he says, I'm starting to get a little concerned about, whatever this creature is. And then there's a long pause. And I guess you're supposed to think he's going to be skeptical. But then he finishes that thought by saying, gonna climb up in a tree and jump down on me. In every episode so far, something has wanted to climb up in a tree.
Yeah, if Buck thinks too long about a problem, it's going to climb that tree and jump on him.
Down on him. I love that he had no problems. He's actually seen, apparently, the Wolfman in episode 1, basically fought him as far as they're concerned. And now he's like, fucking weird dog? No, it's not happening.
Yeah,
later on, he's going to use the phrase, there's got to be a logical explanation. He's going to say that.
He actually says that in this show.
The balls on this fucking Kirby to say that.
So they find tracks again because this is the track finding part of the show, and that's it for their investigation. So now it's back to the Wild Bill and Willie show where they're doing their scrap metal scavenger hunt. They found an old barn to rob. At this point, they're just picking through the scrap metal that somebody probably thought they might have a use for. I don't know. And Willie finds a dead possum there, and he just picks it up and puts it right in his face and takes a big huff and says, smells done, that's for sure, and then throws it off to the side.
At first you're like, this, maybe they'll think this means something, but then they decide, no, this is just part of the detritus of the woods.
Did not connect up to the hunt at all. He just wanted to huff a long dead possum. And it's not, maybe I could see if this is good eating like them hillbillies do, because it's clearly rotted away to nothing. He's just I want to huff some possum.
Now you're making it sound like this is not a sexy scene, but it takes a very erotic turn.
Smells done, that's for sure. That's what he says to you.
They start talking about how good they are with the chainsaw. And
that's a sexy scene. That's the next scene. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what they. And so Willie's like, God, what does he say? He could trim up his furniture with his chainsaw or something like that. I can't remember his brag.
Huck starts it. Huck hears Willie say he's going to use a chainsaw. That's all Willie says. Right. And Huck says, well, I could cut trim with a chainsaw. Uh-huh. And then Willie says, well, I could take the stitches out of a stray cat with a chainsaw and not hurt the fur.
Yeah, very strange.
Weird specification.
Now, Huckleberry takes it all the way to the maximum chainsaw skill, which is he offers to wipe Willie's ass with a chainsaw. He's like, I don't wipe
exact quote. Do you have it?
Give it to me. No, give it to me. You say it.
I could wipe your ass with a chainsaw if you'd stand still.
Now,
and he delivers it like that too.
Yeah.
It's not a comedic thing. It's slow. And he's looking him right in the eye, and it's just like, let's do this. What are we even doing anymore, Willie? Are we going to do this dance forever? And Willie says, I guarantee you're not going to get that opportunity chance.
Yeah. Word for word. Yeah. And that conversation, again, filmed from multiple angles. They have this a two-camera thing because it's shot, reverse shot. So there's two camera people standing there while they just riff for a while. And I guess their instructions were just riff on some chainsaw stuff. Just do some chainsaw improv for us, and that's what they came up with.
That's what came out. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give them full credit for that. I could never come up with something that fucking timeless and good. So they're off to interview their third witness, who's just named Seth. These are descending in quality of titles, and he's actually a younger man, by which I mean he's in his 40s. In a camo hoodie and overalls, so you can identify him. He's a trapper by trade, and he's finding these coyotes dead everywhere. And Buck's like, I don't think that means that you found some dead coyotes. Yeah. Surely A bear, a bobcat, a mountain lion could be taking out these coyotes. And then he says this, I think it's weird that something would kill a coyote like that. But at the same token, I do believe there's a logical explanation for all this.
Yep. It's fucking devil dogs, Buck.
Dead animals in the woods. There has to be something that could cause animals to die in the woods. I just believe. I realize this has never been witnessed before.
I think
there's been heavy fracking in the area.
No, it's the devil. It's the devil's dog, is what it is. Buck Scully, hillbilly skeptic here. It's such a wild turn. I don't think they really keep it up, and they didn't try it before. They definitely have the same off-road golf carts. Everybody they've visited has these golf carts, so they don't have to walk anymore. Same model, same camo print. They're clearly just driving around.
I had something in my notes about how leading the questions were. Obviously, it's probably a little staged, but Seth is just like, yeah, I found a dead coyote. And then one of the guys is like, did something take all of its blood, maybe? And Seth's like, oh, yeah, probably, I guess. Like they're definitely leading him down the path to
sometimes they don't get the best improv out of the truck driver that delivered the hot dogs for this shoot. They wrangled into this extra 20 in it. If you say that you saw some coyotes with their blood sucked, he says he's got an image on his trail camera, and then he pulls out like a little manila folder. Like he's got his homework.
He's got his detailed devil dog files.
It's a grainy black and white shot, of course, out of focus.
That's not how. I'm sorry, I've got it. Here's how it's presented in the edit, because they want to save this cliffhanger for the commercial break. But the way they smash into commercial break is with their CGI render of the creatures. Mm-hmm. So you get this moment where he whips out this manila folder and pulls out these photos, and you hear one of them say, "Oh my God!" And then it cuts to the CGI, and you think for a brief moment that that's his trail camera.
That's what I got on my trail camera right before I had to reload my save. That was the last thing I saw before I ended my hardcore run.
It's this exact still, like when you beat Resident Evil the third time through and you win like the character models as your prize, and you can spin them around.
That's what they are. I was trying to place the vibe. That's 100% what they are.
PlayStation 1 era Devil Dog.
And then you zoom in on it, and you're like, "Whoa, cool! Look at its thighs."
Look at those thighs.
I didn't know they were so big in the game.
But no, they come back from the commercial break after you've sat there through all of your ads, and I would kill, because we're watching this on streaming. To be clear, there are no ads. When we're watching this, it's stitched together like the editor just had a stroke. Yeah. Like we obviously know this originally in broadcast, so that's why it's paced this way. But if you were to watch it not realizing that, and the way it just stops and then recaps and shows these graphics, it just looks like some sort of experimental student film or something.
So they have
those commercials must have been amazing. It must have just been
that's my point. Yeah, I would love to know what 6 ads played in that break. Like, is this like the kind of, buy gold because the apocalypse is coming?
Almost
or is
certainly.
It like adult incontinence things, or
reverse
is it more
mortgages?
stuff?
It would be like stuff like grifting obvious marks or just right-wing political stuff.
I can tell you what it's not. It's not stall tractors.
It's definitely not.
Apparently not.
So they come back to this grainy black and white footage that he has with some blurry hindquarters. And they say, the craziest thing, it don't look like what we expected. There's hair on that. I think Chupacabra was the hairless one, right? So I think they're like, maybe in this scene filmed out of order, they were waffling on whether or not it's a Chupacabra. Maybe
they from scene to scene, they never even up to the time the credits roll, never totally land on what type of creature this is supposed to be. They didn't hash this out in advance, and I'm guessing if you Google the Devil Dog of whatever county, Kentucky this was, or wherever they're at, that maybe it's really nebulous. Maybe it doesn't have like tons and tons of lore, and so they weren't like, does it drink blood? Does it eat livers? Is it a leader of a pack? Is it white? Is it black? Does it have red eyes? Is it supernatural? Is it
the leader of a pack? Is it white? Is it black? Devil Dog.
I'm getting only mountain monsters. Devil Dog of Logan County gives only mountain monsters matches.
Oh, they absolutely just make up.
They
Like
made it
maybe
up.
there's some folklore roughly about a dog, but they absolutely make up 90% of these monsters. You will find no information on them whatsoever. Trapper,
Yeah,
that's amazing?
I'm at like all the way to the bottom of the first page. It's just mountain monster references.
so they have a little fight where Trapper is like, well, they do have hair. And Buck says, well, not on its tail. And Trapper says, well, reports say the hair on the tail is sparse. like he's got this extensive database of devil dog sightings. But it's all so that Buck can play the skeptic and say, there's a logical explanation. But what it is, I can't put my finger on it yet. Just playing coy. Awesome. Playing coy with it. Let's check back in on Wild Bill and Willie's Trap Shack. They're setting it up at night. You won't believe this. It's a box. It's a big box that they built.
I would call this closer to a pile of wood debris than a box. It's like a meth dealer's son would build.
It is hard to overstate the poor quality of the traps these people consistently. Again, I know budget is limited, but this isn't about budget. This is about they had not built anything prior to the airing of the recording of the first episode of the show. These are not builders, and they're definitely not trap builders.
You're telling me if you only had 15 minutes to steal everything you can from somebody's unattended garage, you could build a better giant muskrat colony trap than this.
Age 10, I could have. I can prove it.
Yeah, probably.
We could go into the woods of Baker City and find things I built at 10 years old that are much nicer than this.
Yeah, there are holes in it. It's not going to contain anything. He says he built a teeter-totter trigger that can only be activated by the force of a whole pack pulling on the bait at the same time. That's how they're going to get all of them at the same time. So I guess they're like they're communist devil dogs, and that they're all going to like bite at the same time and pull away. God, I love this.
The idea is they all go into the trap and then hit the little dangler in the back, and then clang, they're all trapped inside this pile of shit.
And then what?
And then
what?
We blow them to fucking pieces.
This is a question this show will never answer, to my knowledge. It's like once we get them trapped, and then because again they have no means to transport them, tranquilize them, sedate them, capture them, and like put them onto a truck, take them to another location. They have no lab to take them back to. They have nothing whatsoever.
It'd be so funny if they did. Bring them back to the lab.
They have a pack.
Wild Bill's lab.
A pack of devil dogs trapped in a rickety trap that are becoming steadily more enraged and are going to be trying frantically to get out of it. And these are mythical creatures that have survived for hundreds of years and evaded all predators. They're the apex predator in the region. They've evaded all hunters, all human civilization.
They are pure evil, and no weapon made by man can kill them. We've established.
They may be supernatural in some way. Again, they're bloodsuckers. They're hinting that there's funny because in the very beginning in the car, I think as Trapper says, well, they've been seeing sightings of devil dogs since the 1930s. And then later in the episode, he says, well, they've been seeing these things for 20 years, which is 1993 is when the devil dog apparently migrated to the ancient mythical devil dog back in 1993.
Before we
a perfect comedic cut here where they decide to camouflage the trap. So they cut down a tree, chop it into chunks, and like glue them to the side of it. And when they cut to the reveal, it is such a hilarious like bit of comedy because it is just like a little wooden shed a child might build, just covered, maybe 4% of it covered with like random tree branches. It's so fucking funny.
It's the sloppiest thing you could ever imagine. It's just like you would if your child showed you that all proudly, like brought you out to the woods and showed you his clubhouse, you would fucking bust out laughing in their face, and you'd be like, I'm sorry, honey. No, it's good. It's good. I'm not letting you go in that. I'd can't go in there.
No, son of mine. You live in these woods now. And that's how you get shoeless Terry.
You learn to survive. You better learn to love the taste of skunk ass. So now we cut to Trapper. Trapper's got the bait for this trap, which is not his prize goat again. His precious Daisy. He's not doing that to her again. He's got a scent bait for a predator made out of coyote glands, coyote rectum, chopped up squirrel rotted in the sun, mixed all together, and then fermated.
This is West Virginia kimchi. That's what this is called.
Well, they actually call it later. We'll look at that. Wild Bill says, well, all right, let me get a hit of that, and then just takes a big huff and says, that is good shit. That is excellent.
He loves it. Then they make Buck do it, and Buck is like gagging on it. And I have a theory on this. I mentioned earlier that Buck is a Kirby. So when he ingests something, it changes his entire DNA. So this is a lot of trauma for him to smell something so pungent. His body is trying to transform into that rotten coyote juice. And
it's just so many things. It's coyote glands, coyote rectum, squirrel rotted in the sun. He would be a horrible chimera.
Can you imagine if a Kirby swallowed that? The powers it would have? The dark squirting powers?
It would look like the end of Akira is what it would look like if he ate that. So he violently gags all over the place, and Trapper says, don't spill that. That's $100 an ounce. That's hillbilly caviar.
$100 an ounce.
$100 an ounce.
Where would you buy that? Like if you went to a bait shop and said, hey, can I get a jar of fermented squirrel with coyote gland? They pull a gun on you.
Sure thing. It'll be $600.
Here, you got it.
I love
eating. Hold on. Are you a Fed? Do you eat groundhog? Describe the flavor of groundhog.
Hold on. I didn't mean it has to be from West Virginia. I don't need hillbilly caviar. I just need hillbilly roe.
Right.
So we're already on the big night hunt, and we switched to night vision for this, so it's all dramatic.
Okay, I apologize. There's one more thing I have to mention.
Do it.
Because this is something that frustrates me about the show. I try not to criticize the show too much, but he says this bait is amazing because it will attract any animal. Right. So do you see the issue here?
Yes.
In this episode, and as far as I know, in every episode, they will never specify why their trap will only capture the cryptid versus anything else that we'd be attracted to try to eat a live goat. Or in his case, the entire point of his hillbilly bait that is not a thing that they made up for the production. They stuffed some junk in a jar. Any animal smells this, will come run. It's like, okay, what you've told me is in your giant devil dog pack trap, you put that in there, your box is going to fill with raccoons and
just Katamari Damacy with just sticking out the sides.
All it would have taken is for him to improvise. Well, I went to the library, and according to the lore, the devil dogs attracted to the scent of blank.
Right.
Pick anything, possum liver. So, well, I contacted a local down here, and he got me some old rotten possum liver, and it's, this, I don't know, don't smell like anything to me, but they tell me that devil dogs can't resist this because they love the smell of possum liver.
So
you see, that's all it takes. You don't need any extra production. Just say, don't worry, we're not going to attract people's pets and stray cats and everything else into this trap.
It never occurs to them. It never occurs to them because they cut straight out of him saying this will attract any animal. They smash to the night vision hunt, and he says, our plan is we're going to call all the coyotes into this area in front of the trap, and they're going to leave the trap alone for some reason. But then we'll flush the devil dogs in, and they'll run into the trap.
Yeah.
So you've already said this will attract any animal, and we're going to fill it with 800 coyotes, but they won't go in. Don't worry about it.
Because the coyotes are gone. Just like to remind everyone that the coyotes in this area have been drained of their blood by the creature they're hunting. So,
but now it's full of coyotes
in every direction.
Chock full of coyote. Right. Coyote in every bite. They split into teams, Willie, Buck, and Huckleberry on one team. I think Willie's the secondary team leader in these early episodes. Wild Bill, Jeff, and Trapper are in the other team. Buck, still not convinced there's a devil dog out there. Again, all in on the Wolfman, but whatever. Trapper explains now, you be careful, because now that we know there's a pack, they get more nervy in numbers.
Yes.
So they're bold now.
I want to pause here. I'm sorry to interrupt. at the start of the episode, they thought it was the one devil dog. And now, after
Yes.
finding out it's a pack, they know the rules to that pack. Like, we watched them learn
Which
that
has never, they
information.
explained it never happened before. They specifically
Right.
said early in the episode, 1 is rare enough, 2 is unheard of, a whole pack, it's never happened before.
Never
Is his
happened.
exact quote.
Also, very briefly, they're going to bring up a diagram demonstrating the plan for what they're going to do, which is another runny thing of the show where it's got like, here's the trap, here's the Coyote Canyon, that they call it. And Trapper's team and Willie's team are going to do a pincer movement, a temporal pincer movement to come in. My issue with that is in the center of it, they label the devil dogs and they have a little paw print to represent where the devil dogs are. Paw print has 4 toes.
Mhm.
I hope the
picking-
graphics guy got fired the next day after this aired.
You're
think the
picking
graphics
such a
guy is
minor
set as the
detail
trapper.
when what they've agreed to do is split up into teams and then come directly facing each other in the dark and shoot at the devil dogs, certainly killing each other. Like, this is
And also, and again, I'm not accusing Wild Bill of being on any substances. In this case, he does not appear to be on a stimulant. He is either intoxicated or he is having a medical episode.
they have
that
to.
can-
We didn't mention it, but they have to subtitle him in this episode.
Yes, he
So
is
fucked
not
up.
doing well to the point that I would, like, if somebody showed up, a friend of mine, they were in that condition, I would not let them shoot my TV show. I would send them back home and say, you either need to go to the emergency room because you're having a stroke, or you need to go to bed, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. But I know you're not. We're not letting you walk around even with an unloaded gun in the woods. You're gonna go nuts, and you're gonna bash somebody's head in with the butt of this shotgun because you're gonna get confused about where you are. He is not there. Like, you can just see it, the look on his face. He's not present.
Wild Bill is always a danger to have on any team. They're still amping up this threat. Jeff says it doesn't care. If it's hungry, if it's needing blood, it'll just come right in and it's going. And then Willie joins in saying, yeah, these things are predators. They're like stinging yellow jackets. They have no stopping. Willie should not
Again,
join in.
They have no stopping.
Basing that on nothing whatsoever.
Nothing.
They
No.
are making up this folklore as they go.
Willie has
They have no
specifically
data.
said when he heard them earlier, nobody, not in my area, nobody's ever heard anything like this. Now he's like, yeah, I know all about it. These sons of bitches. So they find some tracks. Bill finds some tracks. Buck finds some hair that they look at. Oh, that's proof. Jeff sees
Yep.
one on thermal, and now it's gone. Another twig snap. What the hell? Buck, it's time for Buck to call the coyotes. Buck, the plan was for Buck to use his mystical hillbilly powers to summon coyotes. So he makes coyote sounds, and it's absolutely adorable. It might be authentic. I don't know why you would have occasion to use that, and why they would listen despite this clear and present danger that has driven them, this mystical danger that has driven them out of their territory. But they come to Buck's siren
And
call.
in that moment, Buck goes from rookie to caller.
That's his job now. He makes them sounds. He makes them monster sounds. So another clear, it's amazing that they don't mix the sound effects like through. So they just play a sound effect of a howl in the distance, and so there's something coming up behind us. Cut to commercial, of course, and time for another full recap of everything we've just seen. And you'll never guess, but once we're done with that, turns out it was nothing. Turns out it was nothing at all. There's nothing behind him. Like, how many times would they expect to do this and like get away with it? Because we're in episode 2, and you're already like, you have taught me. There's a whole parable about this. They've taught me you shouldn't keep doing this, or I will not pay attention. But they're banking hard on that whole scenario. They'll use it over and over again. Trapper finds the biggest track yet. Big as a bear, or bigger, which they should not be surprised by. They found like several of these. And Trapper immediately just has decided that Buck is a piece of shit for this. He says, I wish that Buck was here, our non-believer, like practically spits when he says it. And then they pan over to Buck and he's like 50 feet away. He just walks over. He just walks over like, I'm right here.
Did he conjure him? Do you think he had a wish and he wasted it on that?
I think he's just saying it right in front of Buck's face and he's all sad when he has to wander over. So the more Halloween sounds of the coyotes being killed horribly, and they run up and they find coyote corpses, actual corpses, 5 of them, one with its liver tore out.
This is troubling because I do think the producers are capable of eviscerating a bunch of coyotes and just staging a murder scene.
I mean, somebody did.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, let me clarify. You do not see multiple coyotes in any one shot.
That's true.
You see one coyote.
That's true.
Cut from this angle, this angle, this angle, and there's another one, and another one, and another one. I think there was one.
There was one, but they still
came up with
killed
and
that
have
coyote.
been showing it through the episode because again, earlier a guy had a photo of a dead coyote. I think it's always that same one, just photographed from different angles as they dragged it to different parts of the woods.
Oh my god!
They have just found one dead coyote.
They found the coyote first. Is what happened, and then they wrote this episode around it. They found a dead coyote.
God. Yes, that is exactly what happened.
We got to use this, and that's why it's so confusing all over the place. Because they're like, well, we found a dead coyote. That's our prop. That's enough for an entire episode of television. It's just messing with this coyote corpse.
I really like Trapper's decision at this point because he gets really aggro and he's like, I fucking wish that punk ass devil dog would show up. Like he's really mad at the devil dog for what he's done.
This happens over and over again. They get progressively more mad at it for no reason. Like they haven't even seen it out here, but now they're like, "Fucking, I'm gonna kill it."
Yeah,
but Buck gets this time. They cut to Buck for the reaction. They're really aggressive about it now. Like, how dare you, Buck? And he says, "I've been in the woods since I was a little kid. You find dead animals here and there." You do.
But what does it take for you to believe?
But to walk up on the apex predator, coyotes in West Virginia, and see 8 of them, so now there are 8, they specifically said there were 5, lying there dead where something's killed them, it's crazy. Doesn't even have time, more howling. Jeff, my God, I've got movement. 3, 4, I'm counting 5 devil dogs. Trapper, they're running straight towards the trap. Let's go. And then some clanging, traps down. We got something, guys. Commercial. Full recap. They do have something.
There's something in there.
You've been conditioned to expect absolutely nothing, but they come back and there's something in the trap, yelping and thrashing.
Here's one of my favorite quotes in the episode. I think it was Huckleberry, or maybe Trapper, who said, "Promise we didn't put a damn window in it."
That's exactly what I have next. They didn't put a window in it.
Or a camera.
Or a camera.
Right.
Or anything. They didn't even put gun holes. They just didn't have a plan. And he says something crazy that I don't think he was supposed to say. He says, go around back so it don't break through the tent. So part of this is a tent?
Amazing.
I don't think he was supposed to reveal that. I think part of it is a tent that they were not shooting. And then they left it in. Anyway, Trapper now says, so what do you think, Buck? Just every time they say Buck, that's full of venom. Buck just goes, I want to see what it is. It infuriates them. They lift the door so Jeff can get his thermal camera in there and see some blurry thermal dog feet. He goes, there's 3 of them. We got 3 devil dogs in there.
3 devil dogs.
And so
I got really confused here at the end. They decided they're just wild dogs, right? They decided
Trapper lays down and puts his face in there to check it out, and then goes, "Oh, I think it's just wild dogs."
And then they decide that those dogs were the actual devil dogs' minions.
Yes. So now it's not a pack. It's not a pack of devil dogs. It's one devil dog that has hypnotized a pack of wild dogs.
Right. So it's not what they thought it would be, but it's proof of what they thought the whole time. Again. But then, after they decided this, they did find a very, 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 very deliberate 3-toed dog track nearby. Like someone pushed the cookie cutter into the mud.
They have the sharpest edges. And I don't understand why they don't. I'm not an expert tracker, but it wouldn't have a sharp edge. I don't understand why they.
I cannot emphasize how bad their animal tracks are, because it's the same thing with the previous one. And when you get an animal track, they will scoot leaves aside to get like a muddy patch of dirt, and they will take some round object, just something that it could even be like a Red Bull can or something, and they're just pressing it into the dirt to represent each of its toes. So they put it in 3 times to be the 3 toes, and they'll make a bigger shape behind it. But it's this extremely sharp indentation, like a cylinder has just been pressed down, and they haven't tried to like smooth it out to make it look like a track or make claw marks. It's just this very cartoonish, sharp, like.
And unlike anything else, they forget the rule of like this has to be far away and out of focus so it looks convincing, and they zoom way the hell in on it and are like, look at it! It's crazy!
And again, every track they find is a Devil Dog track. They never accidentally get a deer track or any other kind of. It's like, look, 3 toes. That's it. That's the only type of tracks that exist in these woods.
And Trapper says, well, if that don't prove that the Devil Dog exists, I don't know what does. It's so close. Yeah, it's so close.
We trapped 3 stray dogs in this box.
We specifically found
quotes
something
around trapped.
That would
three of the crew member brought their dogs to sit.
Yes, of course none of this happened, but even if it all happened exactly, even if we go along with the universe, what happened was you found something that would explain what you've been seeing that is completely normal, and you're like, nope, that proves it. And then they all turn to Buck, all of them, and say, what do you think now, Buck? Now that we've specifically caught 3 normal dogs, and it's Buck, who has been a skeptic up until this point, says, whatever killed those 8 coyotes in one shot like that, that's something out here I can't explain.
Well, in the phrase he used earlier, it's something we can't even describe.
Which is a weird thing to say after 40 minutes of describing it, I would say.
In various... Maybe that's cover for them giving different descriptions of it every single time they're asked.
I believe this episode is also the first time we see something that will become a trope in the show where they will take off running toward the emergency. Like they've captured it, or there's somebody being attacked by the monster. And then while everyone is running, somebody will stop and do a stationary 2-camera interview. Well, we heard noises down the holler. We're running down there as hard as we can. You know, we got to see what's going on with that Devil Dog. But it's like he's now not running with, and then they'll cut back to all of them running through the woods. It's like not supposed to be later, but they will. It's the weirdest edit. They will insert this stationary, like that journal reality show thing.
Well, all you'd have to do is talk about it in the past tense, like I'm reflecting on it. But no, they always say like, we're doing this right now. Let's go.
That would ruin the tension, because then you would know that Buck doesn't die.
Buck wasn't ripped apart like Willie. So now that Buck has seen 3 normal dogs, he believes in devil dogs. And that leaves us with the impossible task. We got to figure out what our favorite quote was from this episode.
That's not how it is. It ends them announcing that they're going to call animal control to come get the 3 dogs out of the box.
They're not even qualified to take care of normal dogs. They have to call in specialists for non-devil dogs.
I mean, what was the alternative? Like, well, it's time to start blasting.
Oh my God. Picturing, actually, I'm sure in real life did not actually do this, because the 3 dogs are just dogs they brought. Like, they're the same dogs that were being shown in all of their Predator vision shots. But I do the animal control showing up and finding this homemade trap and
explaining
with these branches stapled to it to hide it. We caught 3 dogs in there with Trevor's $100 an ounce animal
hillbilly caviar. You know it.
And then, like, what do you want us to do with these dogs? They're just dogs that are in the woods. They could be, or just strays or something.
Find them some good homes. All right. Let's figure out our favorite quotes. Does anybody have a favorite quote?
I've already said mine is that when he declares that that the devil dogs and the coyotes, just like the Hatfield McCoys, they're in a battle royale. I know it was 2 different people that joined up to say that line, but I consider it one line.
It's art. It's fine.
Mine is probably Willie's response to the offer to get his ass wiped with a chainsaw.
Obviously.
You ain't ever gonna get the opportunity chance. Mine is Shoeless Terry. You did a good job staring down them devil dogs.
Because you have to be a Bigfoot teacher, you have to open up your mouth. You have to be a Bigfoot teacher. All your friends were so knocked out. You had to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You had to have the white hot spotlight. You had to be a Bigfoot last night. Whoa, whoa.